Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Joining me now is Zia from Des Moines. We're waiting moments away from Governor Ron DeSantis from speaking. You were a DeSantis supporter. Can you tell us why?
I really like DeSantis and what he stands for, and I really like what he's doing in his state, all the policies he's implementing, and I like that what he says he puts into action. He backs up what he says.
In most national polls, Governor Ron DeSantis is polling behind President Trump. Why DeSantis over Trump?
I really like what Trump did, but I think DeSantis can give us 8 years, and I think he's been very effective, and I think he will get rid of the crap in Washington, the junk in Washington that needs to go and take care of our country. So,
When you think about going to vote in the primary, what's your top issue that comes to mind?
oh, there's a bunch. Probably more the cultural stuff that's going on. I think the economy is big. I think there's a lot of stuff that's really big. National security is a big thing, but I think the cultural things that's affecting our kids and our schools and our local areas is what's really important to me as a mom.
And let's say Governor Ron DeSantis is the GOP nominee. Who would you like to see as his vice presidential pick? Anyone interesting you from the fellow contenders or a brand new Republican?
There's a lot of good choices. Honestly, I'd kind of love for him to pick Governor Reynolds, but I'd also hate it because then we'd lose her. So she would probably be a really good choice. But I think Tim Scott is good. There's a lot of good options in the field that would make, I think, good VPs.
And we've seen politicians and political leaders, as well as GOP contenders, cycling through within the past few days. Anyone stand out or surprise you at all?
I think Vivek is very smart. I think he's really sharp. Like I said, I think Tim Scott's really nice, but DeSantis is our favorite. So,
joining me now is Bruce from Iowa Falls, and we are standing right outside of Governor Ron DeSantis' speech before it begins. Tell me, why are you here?
I'm here. Governor Reynolds is doing chats with all the candidates, and it's a great opportunity for people to hear, interact, and see their views.
And you told me you aren't dedicated to one specific candidate yet, but what has surprised you so far? Who has piqued your interest a bit?
Well, I think several of them. I think Vivek is clearly catching on. I think Governor Burgum, Nikki Haley. I think you have a variety of candidates that would make great presidents.
Dive a little deeper. Why do you think those candidates specifically?
Because I think their message, and I think people want to move on from the past. And clearly we've got to fix Washington. And so I think the opportunity is for someone new with fresh ideas to bring the country back.
When you're talking about these fresh ideas, what do you think the future of the GOP is?
I think it's good. I mean, you've seen what happens in Iowa when you elect a great leader in Governor Reynolds. It becomes a very red state with policies that reward hard work and people and wanting a better life. And I think the country's hungry for that. And we've clearly seen problems, issues the last 4 years, and we want this country to be special again. It can be.
And as a conservative, is it important for you to elect a candidate that can work with Democrats on some issues?
Yeah, I think that's important, but we have to have candidates that don't just compromise and continue the Washington spending, continue the war in Ukraine, and continue the unabated challenges that we have in the country, the border, a lot of variety of things. Inflation is a huge factor. You see it every day.
You mentioned a lot of the top issues that face Americans every single day. When you're going to vote, what's that top issue for you?
The top issue is somebody that can be an effective communicator, cares about those issues, believes America can again be a special country, and want to fix the problems that clearly we all see are out there.
You mentioned some of the contenders you believe would be good leaders. Anyone in this mix you don't think would be more of an objectionable leader, a leader that might not represent the GOP the way you would want it to be represented?
Yeah, no, I think there's a variety of folks running that are terrific. You know, whether they can get traction or not is another issue, and I think Iowa's a great place for them to meet a wide diversity of people who can impact their thoughts, the opportunity, the views of the country.
You mentioned your kind of distaste for Washington, what you described as bureaucracy. What do you think Washington doesn't understand about Iowa specifically?
Well, I think Washington doesn't understand, who actually makes the country work. And it's back to ag, energy, You know, the basic industries in this country need to be rewarded so they can grow and prosper here, and Americans aren't dependent upon foreign oil. Biofuels is important to this state and going to continue to be to the nation as we have more sustainable energy. And certainly electric vehicles aren't going to go over real well, I don't think, in the country, but beyond that, in particular Iowa.
Joining me now is Barry McCoy from Texas. He's been fanning me off with a DeSantis fan after we saw his speech. So first, what brings you from Texas?
We just see this on the news every 4 years, and we just always thought it'd be fun. We've been retired, and so we are lucky and get to do whatever we want in life. So.
Good for you, and I know there are a slew of politicians, GOP contenders that came through. First, let's talk about DeSantis. What did you think of his speech?
I really like DeSantis. Being a Texan, we are very related as far as our political views, and just love freedom and opportunity given to everybody.
And I know you said you're not for anyone particularly, but aside from DeSantis, who's piqued your interest or who surprised you?
Vivek has really surprised me, and but I think I'm for DeSantis more than anybody. It's going to be hard to kick me off of that wagon. So.
And in many national polls, DeSantis is polling second to former President Donald Trump. Why DeSantis over Trump?
Well, just ready for a younger generation. Even though I'm 65, I'm ready for younger people to take over our country and be involved in the politics. So, had enough of the older folks. So.
And what do you think the future of the GOP is then?
Hopefully somebody that pushes term limits for everybody, and I think if they'll do that and get people on board, that will push us over the top. So.
When you're going to vote in the primary election, what is that number one issue that you're thinking about when you're casting your ballot?
Oh, it's always been abortion, and it probably always will be. I just can't even comprehend killing babies.
Do you think that is a losing issue for Republicans, though, or is that an issue you think Republicans should stand firm in?
I think we should stand firm in. If we can't be for life, what can you be for? So if that's a losing proposition, I guess I'm a loser.
Well, going back to Governor Ron DeSantis, you will be voting for him, you think, as of now. Let's say he wins, he is polling number 2. Let's say he is the GOP nominee. Who would you like to see him pick for VP?
I like Nikki Haley a lot, and maybe Robert Kennedy Jr. would be a surprise. Just, if my history's correct, vice presidents and presidents used to not always be in the same party, so maybe we can get back to that.
That's a fun counterpart. That's interesting. I haven't heard that one yet here in Iowa. Thank you so much for joining me.
Okay, thank you.